when Akhirul Zaman comes, then you're going to face the greatest of all tests and trials. And nearly all of mankind are going to fail. Very few will pass this test. And all those who fail will go into the hellfire, Jahannam. But Allah's Messenger said that there will be some signs by which you can recognize that you are living in Akhirul Zaman. Nabi Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam had performed the Hajj. And revelation came down announcing, this day have I perfected for you your religion, completed my favor unto you. And then he left Mecca and returned to Medina. And now there are only about 81 days left in his blessed life. It is at this time that the angel came. The angel came in the form of a human being. The angel came into the masjid, JIBRAIL alayhi salam. And the angel asked 5 questions. What is Islam? What is Iman? What is Ihsan? When will the last hour come? And what are the signs of the last hour? He gave 2 signs. The first one, he said that you will find the naked, barefooted shepherds, people who take care of goats and sheep. You will find the naked, barefooted shepherds competing with each other in the construction of tall buildings. In other words, you have to be blind not to see that you are living in Akhirul Zaman. Huh? If you do not have tall buildings in your city, you are considered to be backward. And so in Akhirul Zaman, mankind will measure progress, the height of buildings. The taller the building, the more have we progressed as a society. And people who think that way and are proud of their tall buildings, Nabi Muhammad is saying to them that you have the brains, you have the intellectual acumen of naked, barefooted shepherds. All around the world today, the skyscrapers of Manhattan are being replicated. Every city and every town now has its little Manhattan skyscrapers. And so here is a sign of the last day, which should function as a wake-up call. But there are those who are so asleep, nothing will wake them up. No. They have eyes and yet they cannot see. They have ears and yet they cannot hear. They have hearts and yet they do not understand. Allah says of such people, Ulaika kal'am. Ulaika kal'am. They're just like cattle. They're just like cattle. So what can you do for them? Whether you want them or you don't want them, they don't bother with you. So let us now turn to the other people, who when they see the tall buildings, they will shake, they will shiver, they will say, this is what Nabi Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam talked about, and I'm seeing it with my eyes. I now live in the most dangerous of all worlds. But he spoke about his second sign as well. He said that a slave woman Oh. So in Akhirul Zaman, there's going to be slavery. We don't have slavery behind us alone. We have slavery in front of us. In Akhirul Zaman, there's going to be slavery. He said a slave woman will give birth to her mistress. But the slavery of which the Prophet spoke, alayhi salatu wasalam, is already here. And it is here because of something called riba. Riba is not only borrowing and lending money on interest, but riba is also every rip-off. And of course, the biggest rip-off to have ever occurred in human history is the one involving bogus, fraudulent, and haram paper money. And the money which is coming now, because paper money is on its way out, but what is replacing paper money now is something even worse. It is money you cannot see. It is money you cannot touch. It is electronic money. And you make this money by simply typing it in and typing it out. So whoever controls the banking system around the world controls the world. This is slavery, economic slavery. And it has already come to the world, and now the noose is tightening around the neck. Apart from the major signs, let me share with you some of the other signs. He said, sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, he said, in the last age, women will dress like men. So you will see her in a jacket, cut masculine style jacket. And you will see her wearing trousers. And this is the working woman's clothes. When you see that, tears should come in your eyes. That 1400 years ago, our Prophet, in the desert of Arabia, he said that this will happen. Why is she dressed like a man? Answer, so that she can assume the functional role of men in society. So now she gets dressed and goes to work and faces the morning traffic, and she works all day, and then she comes back home in the evening with a briefcase. Don't be annoyed with me, I have a job to do. And faces the evening traffic and advances in her career. When she's at work, she's an officer. She has men working under her. So she can't talk to them in a feminine voice. Her voice has to be masculine. So her voice becomes masculine. And as her voice becomes masculine, and her work is masculine, oh my gosh, you should see her face. The face of a woman is soft and gentle, beautiful. No man here will differ with me that the most beautiful thing that Allah has ever created is a woman. Come on, tell me. But now she loses her femininity. And as she becomes more and more masculine, because she is dressing like a man, eventually men are no longer attracted to her. And so now the day will get married to the day and get a marriage certificate. And the night will marry the night and get a marriage certificate. He said it 1400 years ago. Now when she goes to work, morning to evening, who's going to take care of the children? And that's a problem, because if you don't have any children, he can look for another woman. Yeah, if you don't have any children, you can look for another woman. So who is going to take care of the children? Answer, put the children in a daycare center. So I went to the daycare center. I spoke to the baby, only 6 weeks old, and a miracle occurred and the baby spoke to me. And I asked the baby, do you prefer the daycare center or mommy? And the baby prefer mommy. Oh, I see. So mommy is violating your right as a baby, and mommy is neglecting you. Well, the consequences of an evil deed is an evil result. So when the baby grows up, guess what the baby does with mommy? They put mama in a junkyard of human beings. So this is a nursing home for old people. So I went there and I saw her on a rocking chair. I said, Mama, can you hear me? Mama, what do you want? I said, do you prefer to be here or in the home with your grandchildren? I want to go back to the grandchildren. This is punishment. You're being punished. He said, men will dress like women. 1400 years ago he said that. Why would a man dress like woman? Why? Because he wants to assume the functional role of woman. You see? So when the two of them get married, the two men, one will be the dominant partner and the other will be the woman. If a man wants to dress as a woman, what is the first thing he has to do? Remember, don't be angry with me, I have a job to do. If a man wants to dress as a woman, the first thing he has to do is to shave off his beard. It is not by accident that every civilization in human history had the beard until the sun rose from the west. And modern, secular, Western civilization shaved off the beard. And guess what the rest of men in the world did? Now then, he said that women would be dressed and yet be naked. This is dynamite. Yes, this is going to cause explosions. Why? Because a woman is attractive. You know, when Allah's messenger built the masjid, you know he put the men at the front. And you know he put the women at the back. You know that, of course. And you know he said that when women go down in SIJDAH, they must remain in SIJDAH longer than the men. You know that. When women go down in SIJDAH, in SALAH, they must remain in SIJDAH longer than the men. This is a command of the Prophet. Why? He said some of the men may not have enough cloth to cover themselves. And if a woman were to raise her head too quickly, it would be an unwelcome sight. So he put the men at the front and the women at the back and told the women to remain longer in SIJDAH. Why did he not put the women in the front and the men at the back? Answer: no man would be able to pray. No, you can't concentrate on prayer. But you have women in front of you. Because women are beautiful. Women are desirable. And if there's a man who does not have desire for women, something is wrong with him. Give him a one-way ticket to the moon. So when women start to take off their clothing, you're heading for trouble. Yes. And he said women will be dressed and yet be naked. You're playing with fire. And he said the fire is going to come. Why? He said you will find people having sexual relations in public like donkeys. Like donkeys. And this sexual revolution is provoked by a feminist revolution which takes woman and gets her to take off her clothing.